Welcome in to a Friday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered here by Go Chevrolet. Appreciate you closing out your week here with us. Make sure you hit that like button, that share button, that comment button. We'll be on YouTube or on Twitter here on this Friday edition. We're eating at the end of the show today. We're going to hear from Josh over at Iverstein's is coming through. He's going to tell us about some membership that they have going on over at Iverstein's, the big move coming down, a meat membership, Katie. After all the news, that's all she cares about.
Yeah.
We've got a docket full of news. Bravo type day here. A Real Housewives of the SEC.
Amazing.
We got it all. Jimbo Fisher versus Nick Saban. We pinched ourselves a couple of times while we were watching the press conference. It got even better over here at FM Digital Media as Rohan Davey was over here getting ready for his show. By the way, new programming coming your way from FM Digital Media. Where My Dog's At. Woo! Rohan Davey is going to be hosting Where My Dog's At every Thursday, 6 o'clock, right here from FM Digital Media. The social media is up. Jamil is running her social media, running Rohan's social media. Lloyd and Stewie are going to be the production team on that show. We're really looking forward to this Thursday night. A week from last night, we will debut Where My Dog's At with Rohan Davey. Rohan came over here yesterday to do some promotional work for the show. He put in a call to Jimbo not knowing what was going on. Like, he called Jimbo yesterday morning at 7:30. Rohan walks into the office, and we're watching the press conference.
You and I are watching
as
it,
soon
like,
as
with
the
our
press
mouths
conference
open.
wraps, I mean, like, Rohan opens the door. I mean, like, Jimbo is, like, shuffling off the stage, and Rohan is walking in, and Katie and I are both still like...
Our jaws are, like, still dropped.
And Rohan's like, what happened? And we were like, did you hear Jimbo? He's like, I called Jimbo. And we're like, did you talk to Jimbo?
No, I didn't.
And he's like, no, I haven't talked to him yet, but he'll call me back. I'm like, dude, have you seen this press conference? He's like, what press conference are you talking about?
Because I thought this was last night.
Katie and I rewind it and play it from the top. And Rohan's like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. As Jimbo is in the middle of a rant, Rohan's phone rings. It's Jimbo Fisher.
We were like, what?
Rohan points the phone around the room and shows that it's Jimbo. We're like, no way. No way. Answer the phone. He answers the phone. And before Ro can even, like, say hello, he's like, Jimbo, did you hear what that motherfucker said about me? I mean, like, just...
It was like
he
a
puts him on
continuation.
speakerphone, and it was the R-rated version of the press conference. He was mother bleeping. He was talking about it. Was amazing. I've got a little bit of film of it. I showed Rohan. I had to swear on my life, on my kid's life, everybody that's sacred to me, that I would not put it out in the public.
I knew you were videoing it.
It was amazing. It was too good.
I know.
It was
I can
too
see Jordy
good.
with his phone, like, right here.
It was so good. I mean, he had conversations with Greg Sankey where he was telling Sankey, you better get security for that cat. I mean, it was amazing.
It was amazing.
It was amazing, but it was not what, or as good as the press conference yesterday. Yesterday is a day that I believe will live on forever in college football. You will see press clippings from the last 48 hours of college football. You'll see Saban sitting up in that director's chair calling Texas A&M out by name, and you'll see the rebuttal of Jimbo Fisher where his top lip is quivering. I mean, it's shaking.
He's sweating.
When he sits down, he is so emotionally wrapped up in about what he is going to say. It was, I don't know if Jimbo maybe 24 hours later regrets it.
I've been wondering that.
I wonder if he does, but if he doesn't,
Probably not.
This is going to be a day, I believe, that we will see forever.
Yeah.
Like, you will see B-roll from Jimbo Fisher's press conference yesterday. In 75 years, they'll be talking about coaching controversies, coaches going back and forth at one another, and they'll be showing this video from 2022. I mean, to see Fisher in his state of mind where he was, and let me just kind of like start from the jump, because this news broke. Obviously, this press conference was yesterday morning at 10 a.m. and we were kind of debating. I was kind of thinking, I don't know, should we go live? But I knew that the news obviously was going to be covered all throughout the day. And shout out to our guy, our friend Jacob Hester, who had Nick Saban on his show yesterday afternoon on Sirius XM. Him and Bobby Carpenter host On Campus on Channel 84 Sirius XM, and they had Saban on. I think they went on at 4 o'clock, and Saban was on at like 4:10. I mean, it was like first out of the block. And obviously, Saban coached Hester, recruited Hester, and, he felt comfortable in that setting. But the first thing that Saban said off the top was that he was wrong for individually calling out a school. He shouldn't have called Jimbo out. He shouldn't have called Deion Sanders out. He put calls into those two guys that he mentioned yesterday. He had not gotten a return phone call back from either one of them. Obviously, by the comments that Jimbo said yesterday, he's not going to get that. He's not going to get that phone call. So just Greg Sankey's come out and put a statement down about kind of the sportsmanship that they're trying to have kept up in the SEC, and that did not happen. The spring meetings in early June it almost feels like it should be a ticketed event. I mean, it feels like you could sell tickets to just 14 coaches walking around in Hawaiian shirt and flip flops talking about what the business of football is going to be. But now you throw in a little bit of this drama and a little bit of this kind of like Bravo television type feel to it.
It's a reality show.
It is way beyond that, man. I mean, it feels like the Real Housewives of the Southeastern Conference. I mean, Teresa Giudice is Jimbo Fisher yesterday as he came out. And when Fisher, I wonder how yesterday morning went for Fisher. And by the way, just on the record, both of them are right. Like, both of them, and what they said is correct.
Yeah, like Nick Saban, he's standing by what he said.
He is, but he's not incorrect. He said it. Saban, the first line out of Saban's mouth, and we said this yesterday morning before Jimbo reacted. The reason why Saban called Jimbo and Texas A&M out is because of the first line of what he uttered yesterday, 2 nights ago in Birmingham. We finished second in recruiting. They finished first. Okay, so you lost.
Exactly.
You're pissed, right? You want to change the rules. And Jimbo kind of gave you a little look in behind the curtain yesterday. He's always going to kind of form and massage the rules to fit his program, right? And he's always kind of gotten his way. And right now, Saban, in my opinion, sees that Jimbo and Texas A&M have the model figured out, and it doesn't matter how much Alabama thinks that they are out in front. They can't keep up with Texas A&M under the current model in which college football is. Now they're trying to restructure and regulate and build rules around NIL. But right now, today, the way that it's formed, Texas A&M is miles ahead of the competition. And like we said yesterday morning before the reaction went out, and like we have said all the way up to this point, I mean, A&M deserves like a standing ovation. They deserve the pat on the back in the sense of, like, you were ready for the project. You understood the assignment. You saw what the NIL rule was going to mean for building rosters, and you really kind of showed people how to do it. People are trying to follow your model, but either they don't have the pockets deep enough, they don't have the passion around the program, or they don't have the understanding like A&M did to be out in front of it, and that has pissed Saban off. Because Saban earlier this week when he was talking about bring back parity, come on, man, there's never been parity in college football. Look at the college football playoff structure. I mean, it's the Alabama Invitational. Alabama's in it every year. So what type of parity are you talking about? What Saban
better than that.
What Saban is trying to create, he wants to kind of go back to the older model, right? Where, I want to go back to parity. No, you want to go back to how it was, where you could play under the table, where everybody now playing over the table. You've got schools that you can't keep up with. He can't keep up with Texas. He can't keep up with Texas A&M. He can't keep up with those schools if this is going to be the world in which college football operates. Now, like I said, there is a strong contingent that wants to change it, and it seems like there is a big movement to make that happen. But if it stays status quo right now for a year or two, Jimbo Fisher is going to pack, back-to-back classes that are, record-breaking, right? Like this one is. What's he have? 8 5-stars in this class? I read yesterday where Texas A&M had signed 6 5-stars over the last 5 years. They have 8 in this class. So Saban saying that they bought everybody in the class is not false.
But it wasn't illegal.
But it's not illegal. And just like Jimbo responded yesterday when it was, less emotional, he was saying, we didn't break any laws in Texas. He didn't say that we didn't pay them.
Right.
He's just saying we didn't break any laws.
They didn't.
And they were ready for the assignment. They were ready for the project. They were ready for what NIL was going to allow them to do. So both sides really are kind of yelling their stance, and they're both kind of right. Mm-hmm. Right? But what happened was Nick Saban broke the code. And Nick Saban spoke publicly. There's no way. I've heard talking heads over the last 15 hours say, well, I don't think that he realized that he didn't mean to say Jimbo's name. Are you out of your mind?
Yes, he did.
Are you? First off, Nick Saban is never going to say anything publicly that is not calculated. Ever.
Right.
He's never going to slip. He's never going to step in it. He's never going to allow himself to get there. Whatever he is going to say, he has thought about what it's going to create. He knew when he mentioned Texas A&M individually sitting up on that stage, and even Deion Sanders, which is a fight I don't know why he would want to pick. There's nothing that could come out for him that would be advantage Alabama or Nick Saban. And anytime he speaks, anytime he threatens, anytime he beckons, it's always coming back to serve the best of Alabama football or Nick Saban. By calling out Deion Sanders, what's that do for you? I mean, what are you going to play him? You better beat him by 100. You don't want to recruit against him. You don't want to go on social media on some war with Deion Sanders. You don't want to get in some PR pissing match with Deion Sanders, because there aren't a lot of people in college football where Nick Saban would be the underdog. But versus Deion, he's the underdog. He can't win that fight. And I'm not talking about a physical fight. I'm just talking about the PR battle of, hey, man, people are going to side with Deion because Deion's doing a good thing. And I don't know why Saban would take that swipe from Birmingham in Tuscaloosa, right near Tuscaloosa, where you've got this college football king, giant. And you're going to take a swipe at what Deion's doing at Jackson State?
When's Deion going to respond? He said he's going to, but man, I can't wait to hear it.
Me too. Deion's going to spin this to make Saban look even worse.
Yes, he is.
And make Deion look better. They're not, it's not going to be anything like some background brawl, but I mean, it's a fight that I wondered, like, why would you get into that ring? I get, look, you can see it between Jimbo and Nick. There's some personal stuff, man.
Clearly.
Like they don't like each other. Like Jimbo hadn't liked Nick for a long time. You could see that a lot of the relationship over the last 10, 15 years it's kind of been put on for the public from Jimbo's point of view. But going after Deion,
yeah, that was
the part where you're like, this doesn't make any sense from him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It feels like Saban kind of feels a little like Drew Brees, where you have molded this sculpture of an image and you've massaged how you want the public to perceive you, and then in one 30-second soundbite, you're polarized. You know what I mean? Like, you are now shown that, oh, maybe he's not as buttoned up and as tight as he always is. Because this is bad on Saban. Mm-hmm. This is a bad look on Saban. For him to call down, and like I said, I think the real law that has been broken here, and it's the unsaid law in everybody's business probably, but college football in particular, you don't want to talk about people's dirty laundry because everybody's got dirty laundry. And you could see Jimbo yesterday morning. He wanted to tell you so bad.
God, he did.
He wanted to tell you so many times about how corrupt Saban's program has been forever. When it was at LSU, when it was at Michigan State, when it was in Miami in the NFL, I'm sure. And when it's at Alabama, it has always been dirty. Always. Nick Saban is the best football coach of our generation, maybe of all time, and it ain't even close, but he's also the best cheater. And that's always been known in circles. And nobody knows that better than Jimbo Fisher.
I can't believe he held back like he did.
He did. He wanted to tell you so bad. He wanted to tell you so bad how Saban wins and how his tactics work and how he changes the rules and how he plays dirty and how he's got the audacity to sit up on a stage and publicly bark into a microphone and claim that another program bought a player. He's got the nerve to sit up there and say that. That to me is what Jimbo was just steaming about.
Yes.
Like, bro, are you serious? You're going to call me out on the way that we recruit when you're the one that wrote the book? It is not even close to who the dirtiest coach in college football is, people. It just happens to be the biggest winner.
Right.
That's no coincidence. And all of these pupils and disciples of Saban that have been spread all throughout college football, they're following the same model. I know that Jimbo wanted to use Bobby Bowden as a reference yesterday, but Bobby's programming in the 90s, man. I mean, Free Shoes University was the meaning of FSU. Steve Spurrier was talking about how dirty it was in Tallahassee. I get it, that Bobby Bowden was a very likable old man, uncle type figure in college football, but in the 90s, he was a crook by college football standards. I'm not claiming he is, but I mean, by the letter of the law, he wasn't following the rules. Allegedly. Or I think that they proved that. Sports Illustrated wrote the article about Free Shoes University. So nobody's ever really played this game crystal clear and clean, right? Nobody. But Jimbo wanted to tell you so many times yesterday, but he bit his tongue because he knew if I start really airing his dirty laundry, he'll start airing mine.
Well, yeah.
Because that's the game. And that's why I can't believe that Nick Saban stepped into that.
I can't either.
I cannot believe that he called down that fight and wanted to bring light to that. But it shows you his true mentality because the opening soundbite from Saban tells you everything that you need to know. We finished second in recruiting. They finished first. They bought every player. Oh, okay. Now we get it. You're pissed. You lost. You want to change the rules. I want parity back in college football. When has there ever been parity, man? You want to go back to the rules a couple of years ago where you were playing under the table and dropping off duffel bags of cash to everybody rather than doing NIL deals with business people that you just don't have the resources that they have. Your pockets aren't deep enough. As crazy as it is, people don't care about Alabama football as much as they want to win in College Station right now from a money standpoint. Yeah, you got the toothless morons and the gumps out there that want you to win, but you don't have the deep pockets and the people that are are ready to fork over $500,000 or $1.5 million to get you a player. And Jimbo does. And Jimbo's got it figured out.
He does.
And Jimbo's got a well-oiled machine right now as far as NIL is concerned because it's just a copy and paste deal every year for Texas A&M. I still got people coming at me from Texas A&M. Jacoby Matthews was always coming to Texas A&M. No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. Denver Harris was always coming to A&M. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. But at the end, y'all came in and put a deal in front of their face that they couldn't say no to, so good on you. And that's happened under the table for decades in college football. They've had kids in South Louisiana grow up that wanted to go to LSU, that Miami, Florida State, Michigan, Notre Dame have swooped in here in the 80s and 90s, greased them and their parents, and make sure they ended up in South Bend. It's been happening forever. But now it's legal, and Saban can't keep up. And Jimbo's writing, he's writing the standard on how you do it. I wish I could have aired that conversation between Roe and Jimbo.
It seems like Jimbo just kind of beat Saban at his own game.
Yeah.
Well, and now
he's
Saban's mad at it.
He's beating him at a game that he can't keep up with. And he's panicking. And he's nervous. And he's thinking to himself, how am I going to compete? Can't we just go back to the old days, to the parody?
Right.
That's what he's dressing it up as. Take me back to parody. You mean parody when you won the championship every year? Or when you played for it every year? Is that the parody you're talking about that you want back? Yeah, I just want to go back to the old rules where we can cheat under the table rather than do this legally. Because I can't keep up. And to me, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, it does.
That's all it is. And Saban broke the code, man. He broke the code of speaking openly about how people build their program. It's like professionals and paychecks in the locker room. Nobody talks about anybody's money in the locker room. It's a code. It doesn't matter if you're the $25 million a year quarterback or you're the rookie that just got drafted in the 5th round and you're making $325,000. Nobody's talking about anybody's money in a professional locker room. And if you do, you can be outcast quick. In the coaching community, you better not talk about how people are getting players. You better not talk about really how it's going down because everybody's got skeletons in their closet in this game that if you start digging, it's graveyards deep.
Some people think they're God. Go dig into how God did his deal.
I got it up over here if you wanna split screen it.
Yeah, please give me more of that, bro. That thing was a drug yesterday.
I know.
I mean, you could not
get
enough. You couldn't get enough. Jimbo was so mad. I wonder yesterday what the consultation, like the PR staff, the president of the university, the athletic director, people being like, Jimbo, maybe we should think about this before. Hell no. Nope. We're having a press conference today. I looked at Katie in the first 2 minutes. I said, this is what a 10-year contract will do for you. This is what guaranteed job security will do for you.
And I love how he got up like it was done and then sat right back down.
Questions? He sat right back down. Hell yeah, I'll take your questions.
I'll take all your questions
y'all
you got.
I mean, the PR guy had to step in and was like, okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
Thank you. Everybody have a good day. I mean, what did it run? Probably like 14 minutes?
Yeah.
And it was, every single word. You will see that image. You will hear those sound bites. You will see that B-roll forever.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, our kids will be seeing that piece of video from yesterday when they're talking about college football in 100 years, talking about coaching conflicts, coaches going back at one another. Who could forget Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher in 2022? I mean, when Saban called out Fisher and Fisher came back at him with a shaking lip and just, we've all seen that face on somebody where you're like, whoa, this person, they are pissed.
Yeah.
Like they are irate and maybe not the best time to speak publicly when you're that pissed. But I thought really kind of under the circumstances and considering where he was, he really kind of handled himself.
He did.
He probably looks back on it and says, I'd like to have a couple of those. Yeah, probably should have texted or tweeted before I did that. You know what I mean? But it's there. And at least I didn't go in. There were a couple of times where he was on the edge where you thought he was going to jump. And he got into, you know what? You go ask the people. You know what I mean? Like shaking his head, like I want to tell y'all so bad how bad this little son of a bitch cheats. Like he taught me how to do it. He taught Kirby Smart how to do it. He taught Will Muschamp how to do it. He taught all of us how to do it. Think about it. LSU wasn't getting Michael Clayton, Marquise Hill, and Marcus Spears. None of those guys were coming to LSU before Saban got here. And look, man, I know that they all were from Louisiana, but something changed. And I love him for it. You know what I mean? That's the way of the world. That's how you do it. That's how players come to school.
Robert Miller said, so Jordy, tell me at what point did Saban say Jimbo cheated? He never did. Take out your hate for Saban and you'll realize Jimbo's the person he made
Do
a
you
fool
listen to
of
this show?
himself.
I love Nick Saban. Are you kidding? Nobody here has hate for Nick Saban.
No.
I respect Saban, what he did at LSU. I think they should build a guy a statue. I wouldn't be mad if they named the stadium after him. He's the one that opened up people's eyes around here to how you win in college football. What do you mean, when did he call Nick Saban a cheater? Go back and listen to him about how God, if you dig into God and see the way he does things, you'll find out that he's not doing it the right way. About how he's got the narcissist in him, the building. You got the sound bites? Let's play them. I mean, what do you mean, Robert? Did you see the press conference? He didn't come out and say, hey, Nick, you're a cheater. But he danced around the topic for about 7 minutes.
Yeah, he said A&M bought every player on their team.
No,
he
I'm
didn't
talking
buy
about
one player, all right?
Yeah.
I don't know if
No, we can't hear it. They can hear it. I wish we knew which one it was. Could y'all hear that?
That was the
Tell-
narcissist video.
Tell me the one. Could you hear that? The audio there? We can't hear it back in the.
Oh, they can't hear it.
Couldn't hear.
Jeff said.
Robert Miller said, I said Saban never called Jimbo a cheater.
He said he bought every player.
Yeah.
What do you? What would you define that as, Robert? He's saying that he bought every player. That.
There's no sound. They can't hear it.
I'm
all right, it's all good.
working over here.
It's all good. I mean,
Yeah, he didn't have to say it.
yeah, he didn't have to
said
say
it without
yeah, right.
saying
He had
it.
to say, I mean, why do you think Jimbo was so mad?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think the reaction was from? I mean, I still believe that both sides were, like, if you would have been sitting in a court of law, I think a judge would have probably been like, what are we doing here? You're right and you're right. You know what I mean? Like, it's right. You did buy every player in the class, but the letters in the law now says that you can do that. So good on you, I guess. I mean, what are we wasting each other's time for? Get the hell out of here.
And I know the guy.
You know, I mean,
Know him really well.
I don't think that
It's amazing.
the debate was won by anyone. I think that both sides are like, he's pissed off. He obviously doesn't like that guy. It's clear this guy doesn't like that guy. And they just both wanted to kind of say each other in public that, you know, I mean, we finished second because that guy bought every player. You know, like, oh, you're pissed that you got beat on a couple of recruits because Jimbo and Texas A&M came in at the end and paid them to come to A&M. Well, I mean, that's how it's done these days. You know, I mean, you used to swoop in on people at the end, give them a duffel bag, and get them to Tuscaloosa. Good on you. But now today, those tactics don't really work as effective. I still think that they work and that there's still people out there doing them, including him. But they don't mean as much as they once did. They mean something, but, I mean, our boy from Westgate, the tight end.
Danny Lewis.
$25,000 NIL deal for Lewis was the difference in getting him to Tuscaloosa rather than Baton Rouge. And he might have started as a freshman at tight end for LSU. So, I mean, it's the same thing that Jimbo did to him on a couple of recruits. So both sides are right, I guess, in what they're trying to prove. But it was just personal. That was personal between those two. It seems like Jimbo's never really liked Saban and kind of always thought that he was fraudulent by the way he presented himself to the real program he was running, and he wanted to tell you that yesterday.
That was decades of beef.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Building up. And I think Saban finally just hit the right nerve
Clearly.
for Jimbo to just flash out. And I think that game in Tuscaloosa on October 8th is
It's
Holy
gonna be
cow.
sell out.
I want to be
I think
there.
I think everything leading up to that. I think that the SEC spring meetings is now going to be covered almost like a college football game day.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be ESPN, SEC Network. I think that they'll have like some sort of a Radio Row type deal built up down there. I mean, a couple of podcasters and radio shows have gone down there over the last couple of years and done shows and, you know, flip flops and sunscreen. But I mean, now this year, I think that you're going to see like like credentialed media showing up, asking questions. These guys, this is as accessible as SEC football coaches ever are. You find them at the beach, they're playing golf, their families with them, they're real loose. There's not football imminent. They're not getting back to, getting on the practice fields. There's no games that they're planning for. They're just real loose. So you really kind of get a lot of information there. And as they walk room to room, there's kind of meetings in it's in a hotel ballroom where people are just kind of moving around and coaches are moving around. Greg Sankey, Herb Vincent, everybody from the league office is moving around. So, you could walk up to them, hey, coach, how are you? Jordy Culotta from the, FM Digital Media back in Baton Rouge. What'd you make of Saban and Fish? And, they'll sit there and tell you about it. Or you could get, Kirby Smart walking through the hall. Hey, Kirb, what'd you think about Jimbo and Nick? What's that shit another what, dude? You know what I mean? That's another part of it that I want to get to at some point is, doesn't it feel good not to be in the drama in Baton Rouge?
Yes.
It was like a kind of a gratifying feeling, like looking around, being like, nobody's talking about what's going on here. Okay.
That's true.
Okay. And if you're Brian Kelly, you got to be thinking, hey, y'all fight that out. Y'all handle that stuff, man. Leave us alone. Don't talk about us. Let us keep our head down and just work. Don't worry about what we got going on over here. And if you're Kelly and his time, I'd have a meeting this morning and say, hey, fellas, now we put this bitch into overdrive. We put our foot down on the pedal and we get our work done. While they're trying to figure out, and they got stuff happening in College Station and Alabama, and they're worried about other stuff going on, let's get work done. Because nobody's talking about us for the first time in about 3 years. You know what I mean? LSU's not the centerpiece of controversial talking points amongst college football for the first time in a while, it feels like. That they're not in the middle of it. And it feels good. You know what I mean? It's a very kind of relieving feeling.
It makes me even more excited about this upcoming football season.
For sure.
Two of the arguably best two coaches in college football going at each other.
Hey, man,
and having a feud for the
I
whole
know
season.
Greg Sankey put out a statement yesterday saying that we need to uphold sportsmanship and we keep together in class. Behind closed doors, him and Herb were probably like, hell yeah!
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I love this.
You thought they were worried about that TV contract. Now, could you imagine CBS executives yesterday looking at that going, oh, my God.
I know.
I mean, when is that football game? October 8th? That is going to be a prime time, 7 o'clock kickoff that has build up from that Monday to Saturday night.
The most awkward handshake heard round the world will be on that day.
It might not be a handshake.
I might not.
I
might be a
don't know.
throwdown.
Jimbo
was sounding like he really wanted to fight.
Jimbo
last night.
sounds like he wants to fight.
Yeah,
And the players.
God, if we could have played the Rohan phone call, man. He was.
You're teasing everybody.
I
with
know,
that.
but I'm just telling you, it was the R-rated
They
version
want
of
you
the
to
press
reenact
conference.
it.
Well, it was just a continuation of the
Yeah, it was
press
just
conference.
that.
I mean, he was
Yeah.
still just
was
as
just
fired
that.
up, sounded just the
was
same.
that.
It was. We were sitting there like,
Lip still quivering.
yes.
He told Rohan that he told Sankey he better get security for him at the SEC meetings.
amazing.
I mean, but I think he also was bringing to Sankey's attention, y'all let this guy get away with everything over there, man. You know, I mean, you let him sit up on a stage and talk about how players are being bought in other markets. Are you kidding? Is he out of his mind? I mean, I think that every college locker room has evidence on other college programs. There's players at LSU that were offered deals at other schools. There's players at Texas A&M that were offered deals at other schools. So I'm sure that, when you're 18, 19, 20 years old, that stuff's not real secretive. As soon as somebody sits down in the locker room and says, hey, they offered me X amount to go to Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Ole Miss, put the school, whatever one. Somebody else is going to say, yeah, they offered me 50. They offered me 60. They offered me whatever. So, I mean, those things are being talked, and maybe it's fabricated, and maybe it's, hey, I got 10 more than you did every time you say, but whatever. This stuff's been going on for forever, and nobody's better at it than Saban. Nobody. He keeps himself filtered enough or layered enough where he doesn't know anything, but he knows everything.
Aye.
Right? You know what I mean? So that was to me what Jimbo was reacting to. Mm-hmm. You know, people, why was he pissed off? He did that. Yeah, well, I mean, it's as if a peer who's playing the same game that you're playing, I mean, whatever business you're in, whatever your tactics are to succeed, if your competition came out and said that you were doing it illegally and they were doing the same thing that you were, or you were almost following a model that they built to get to where you are, I think you would say, get that son of a bitch on the phone. Or if you lived in a world where the press mattered, you would say, call a press conference. And let's tell the world on what we think about what he's talking about us. Like, this guy's got the nerve to call us out on buying players when he's the one that's taught everybody how to do it. I mean, he's the one that has kept himself so layered from all of that, yet continues to pull all the best players from around the country. And he wants you to believe, because, you know, it's the steadiness of the program. His top peers wanted to come out yesterday. I mean, somebody that we've always related to being very close to him, inner circle, trusted, a guy that, you know, I mean, there's still those images of when Texas A&M have played Alabama over the last couple of years of them laughing, shaking hands, talking pregame, sharing a real, you know, embraceful moment following the games, whether it was a big, huge blowout for Alabama or it was last year in College Station where Jimbo finally got over the hump and beat him. I mean, they always at least put on like they liked each other, right? Like they always, at least from a public perception standpoint, never allowed you to believe that they felt like that about each other, because that just didn't happen over one comment. Just because Saban said that on Wednesday night didn't wake up Jimbo Fisher on Thursday morning and say, you know what? I hate the little bastard. I mean, that was a pent-up feeling of, this guy, man, come on. We got to deal with this guy. And he says something publicly about me. Give me a microphone. You know, with Jimbo, your top lip is shaking, bro. You know what I mean? Like you're bouncing around the room. You're do you sure? Yes, I want to do this now. I'm not thinking about this.
Jimbo, put the cigarette out.
Light this. Hit this. From our friends over at Relief Med. RELEAFmed.com. Remember, medical marijuana legalized down here in the state of Louisiana. If you think you have a qualifying condition, log online and find out. Get in touch with a doctor today, and all you got to do is hit that Get Relief Now link, and they'll take you straight to it. Relief Med, RELEAFmed.com. If you want to sit back this weekend and kind of replay the Real Housewives of the Southeastern Conference and settle in on a little Relief Med.
You can play a drinking game to it. However many times he says despicable. And 17-year-old kids and their families.
Yeah,
that's what I want to do.
That was his. That was kind of his fallback.
Yes,
you know, that was his.
That was his go-to.
That was his crutch.
So many mentions. 17-year-old.
We're gonna do this to 17-year-old kids.
I mean, you gonna talk about 17-year-old kids? I mean, come on now. I mean, really, coach? Really?
Yeah. We're gonna do the 17-year-old kids.
It's despicable.
I mean, when he said despicable the first 3 times, you could see his lip like,
yeah.
I mean, like, I was, oh, God, dude. This is going to be incredible. This is going to be amazing. Remember to use the promo code Jordy1, JORDY1 for the 20% savings off your first visit over there at Relief Med. Online, RELEAFmed.com, RELEAFmed.com. Jeez, bro. That was the gift that keeps on giving.
It really is.
Yesterday.
It's so entertaining.
It was
What
was
about when he
amazing.
said he should be slapped? Somebody should have slapped him, though. I feel like people are kind of weird about that comment.
Wait, somebody should have slapped who?
He said when I was a kid, if I would lie, I would get slapped upside the head. Maybe somebody should have slapped him.
I think he's talking about slapping Nick Saban.
Yeah,
like
he
himself.
is.
He wants to slap him.
The people are like, ooh, is that a threat?
Spicy.
Was that a meet me in the parking lot?
I think
that
that's
is.
probably the stuff that probably triggered Greg Sankey.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's the
Yes.
stuff where
It's violence.
yeah, like, hey, fellas,
Yeah.
fellas, we're not going to be threatening each
Right.
other to, slap each other upside the head or beat anybody up.
I wish they would just slap each other. and
I'd
get
like
it
to see a
over with.
benches clearing fight.
Dude, that's two $100 million employees going back and forth each other like they were on Bravo television.
Yes. I'm going to pull your hair.
On a Thursday. You know what I mean? Like, just like this cat right here has won a BCS national title. He has signed a 10-year contract worth $100 million and is probably up to this point worth about $60 million. This guy right here is the king of the hill. Got 6 national championships worth well over $100 million. In fact, there's 2 models of Mercedes in the state of Alabama that bear his name on the back of it. The Saban model Mercedes in Alabama you can scoop up today. And he's out there bickering in the public like some real housewife of New Jersey. I mean, it is amazing to see just how egotistical and wrapped up and narcissistic they all are that we thought they were. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Mobsters.
Yeah, absolutely. Jimbo calling, Nick a narcissist. It's like, we all are, man. I mean, everybody that's like almost a prerequisite for the job. And to see 2 of the head honchos, 2 of the biggest egos in the game, just, cafeteria food fighting. I mean, is amazing, bro.
It's so entertaining.
Is amazing. It's awesome.
It is.
Cliff Howard, are y'all going to talk about this for an hour? We could.
How could we not?
We could, buddy. We could, man. It was great. But LSU baseball did roll last night. We're going to talk to Brody Miller coming up here at 8 o'clock this morning. Miller's going to come in and talk a little more off-season news, obviously about college football. We will get back into the topic of Jimbo, Nick Saban, SEC meetings, SEC obviously spring meetings coming up, and SEC Media Day less than a month away. I also think
Can we
that
go?
yeah, absolutely, in Atlanta. I also think that yesterday, look, there's a lot of news around college football that's swirling that are really pushing people to the edge. Jordan Addison pledged his commitment to USC. This is something that we've obviously known about for a couple of weeks now. Lincoln Riley and Pat Narduzzi had gone back and forth on phone calls weeks back about tampering and about illegal recruiting or what was ever going on with the NIL stuff. We always figured that Addison was going to end up in Southern Cal. Yesterday he made it official. So that song and dance he was playing with Alabama and Texas looked nothing more than a charade just to get past kind of that tampering conversation. But he ended up in the spot that everybody figured he would, and just like his last coach Pat Narduzzi came out and said weeks ago that he and Lincoln Riley had a spirited phone call, where it went back and forth. There was a couple of choice words expressed back and forth on just what was going on. I mean, Pitt had put together an NIL deal for Addison to try and keep him happy and keep him on campus, and by all accounts that was really happening. And then right at the last minute of the transfer portal deadline, Addison enters his name and ends up at Southern Cal. I think that's a bad look for college football, for NIL. And I think that's what's spurring a lot of this. And look around. I mean, Pat Narduzzi and Lincoln Riley going at each other's throat publicly. Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban going at each other's throat publicly. All of this because of how rosters are being put together today and how this money and NIL stuff is coming into a pay-for-play type situation. And I think that's what Saban's arguing against, and I think that's what we really as fans are hoping doesn't happen. I'm all for NIL. I'm all for paying players. I think they deserve it. They deserve a cut, especially with the TV money that's about to come down with some comment. There's reports in 3 years that the SEC might be getting $80 million a school. I mean, just
It's amazing.
buckets and gobs and gobs of cash, right? Enough to spread around to the players. So, I mean, I am all about NIL stuff, but this, hey, going to find the Bolitnikoff receiver coming after Keyshawn Butte when he's on a roster and you're trying to lure him away from that roster with money, with deals, to me that's the unsustainable part. That's the part that feels grimy, feels dirty, feels like you may not be able to overcome, or you better change something immediately or, somebody at some point is probably going to fist fight. I mean, really. I mean, look at it. The rule's been enacted for less than a year, and you've got the kings of the sport, and Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban publicly going at each other. And, by their boss's terms, Greg Sankey thinks that they're threatening one another. And Pat Narduzzi and Lincoln Riley, Narduzzi came out and said, look, I had choice words for Lincoln Riley over a phone conversation. Who knows how many other times that's happened that we don't know about publicly. At some point, two coaches are going to be in the same place recruiting one player, and somebody's going to pop off. And not everybody has the wherewithal to just stand there and take it. And somebody's going to flatten somebody in a parking lot one time, and you're going to have a brawl because you don't have NIL figured out. That's going to be the base of it, is because they're going after players that they thought they had, and they had the commitment, but you came in late and you paid him, did this. I mean, all that stuff obviously is going to boil over. It's already kind of starting to. Mm-hmm. It hadn't been a year yet. I mean, the rule hadn't even been enacted a year yet. I mean, you hadn't even really hit the summer of the first cycle of the rule. So they better change it quick, because the Addison stuff looks bad. The Saban and Fisher stuff, we love it, but it's bad. If you're Greg Sankey, you really don't want a lot of that. Sure, I mean, you create a buzz and you sell some tickets, but at the end of the day, that's not the look you want every day.
No, it is not.
You don't want Narduzzi and Lincoln Riley going at each other. You just don't want that. You don't want it to go there. You know what I mean? I'm all about a good hate story and a rivalry and people showing up wanting to win and, raucous crowds and loud and environment. But when you got coaches wanting to get at each other's throat and, fist fight in the parking lot, we're a couple of clicks too deep.
Have either of them been formally reprimanded before? I mean, I know the SEC formally reprimanded them with all their bylaws. So. Like, has that ever happened to them before?
How did they reprimand them?
It's comments he made, that for Saban is comments he made in violation of two different bylaws related to ethical conduct. Same thing for Fisher. It's another bylaw related to ethical conduct.
They're
for
never
public
going.
criticism.
I don't see a day where they would reprimand Saban.
Do they actually punish them, or was it just don't do this again?
They formally reprimanded him for derogatory comments and public criticism of another institution's athletics program.
They might have fined him.
Yeah, I would imagine.
It's probably a fine.
Yeah,
it matters to him. Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, that's pocket change.
Exactly.
Sankey's probably like, we got it, Saban. We'll pay it.
Exactly.
We'll take it out of your
coffer.
But
I guess they had to do it. I mean, you got to address it.
Throw me a car while you're at it.
Right. Remember Daily, we're brought to you by our friends over at Men's Total Health down in New Orleans on Veteran Memorial Highway over there. Stop in and check out Men's Total Health. Men's Total Health is online. Come see what you've been missing. Come see the difference that Men's Total Health offers the patients, individual care, state-of-the-art facility, and expert providers, and unique quality care for patients. If you are suffering out there from sleep deprivation, if you're losing some of your sex drive, if you're losing some of your muscle mass, and you're wondering why, go see our friends over at Men's Total Health. Mike Roach is doing a great job over there, man. I really enjoy just getting in, talking to him. And like I said, it doesn't have to be about your testosterone levels. You can go in there and just get a simple physical performed, or if you're looking to get some blood work done, they can help you out with all of that over at Men's Total Health. menstotalhealth.net is the website, menstotalhealth.net. We'll get back to college football here in a couple of minutes with Brody Miller, and we'll talk more about what to expect at the SEC spring meetings. But how about LSU baseball last night? Dylan Cruz was an absolute monster for the Tigers as LSU bludgeoned Vanderbilt 13-2 at Hawkins Field up in Nashville last night in Game 1 and got past the Commodores. LSU was smashing the ball last night. I think they got to 100 home runs.
They got 6 home runs in one game, which was a season high.
But I think on the year now they have 100.
Yeah, they do.
Which kind of feels like retro college baseball. I don't even know that you could get to numbers like that, but I don't know the stats deep enough where that might be consistent. But I thought when they changed the bats and changed, what the power kind of was in college baseball, that was always kind of be a tough number to get. But LSU, they had 5 home runs last night, which did increase their season total to 100. Now they're 35-18 on the season, 15-13 in conference play. They'll play Vanderbilt today in Game 2 at 6 o'clock. Cruz, though, was the story. Cruz was
homer.
I think he had 2.
Two
I think,
3-run
No, I
homers?
think he hit 2 home runs.
No,
One-
K. Doty hit 2.
Okay, Doty hit 2. But Cruz last night, perfect at the plate. 4 of 4. You mentioned the 3-run blast that he had. Knocked in 4 runs. And it's good to see, your superstars playing well at the right time. I think that we've all kind of lost a little faith in this LSU baseball team over the last couple of weeks, especially what happened last week versus Ole Miss and the sweep at home. And they may be looking outside in on hosting a regional. I still think that the LSU brand goes a little bit further than other schools in those closed door meetings. It's still a TV show. You still got to sell tickets. You still need ratings. And I know that the feeling around the program, may be a little bit more, unsturdy than it has been over the past 10 years, 8 years. But it's still LSU baseball, and it's still the box, and it's still, springtime in the South and college baseball being king. And if LSU's playing well, I think people know in that executive committee of the NCAA selection office that they're going to sell tickets. Mm-hmm. They're going to show up. And Alec Box Stadium looks really good on television. And when LSU baseball's in it, you get a couple of more eyeballs. You get a couple of more people that are interested in watching. And at the end of it, it's a business deal. And maybe LSU has cost themselves. And maybe last weekend is too much to overcome. But I think from, at least just a point of emphasis of, you put so much on last weekend's loss at Ole Miss, you gotta compliment them on traveling up to Nashville and taking game 1 in the fashion like they did, and possibly setting themselves up for a weekend win versus Vanderbilt. So, I don't know if the door is completely shut, just because I believe that the brand does mean a little more to people at an executive level who are trying to sell tickets and looking for television ratings. But, they've got to continue to play at the level that they played last night. They don't have to, drive in, hit the 4 home runs a game. But, just it wasn't just about the offense. And the offense was great. Mikhail Hilliard last night worked 5 1/3. He looked, as usual, fantastic. Reiselman came in, looked good in relief. They've got to get these complete games of offense, defense, pitching, putting it all together, and see if they can't make a run. But it's always a lot cooler in college baseball when the box is hosting. And I don't think we're the only ones that feel like that. We might be, and maybe I'm extremely biased, but we've seen it time and time again where LSU's kind of gotten a little bit of the curve over other schools. So maybe this late season push can help put that together for Jay Johnson and the Tigers. All right, we're going to take a top of the hour break. We're going to be right back with Brody Miller. That first hour zipped by. Yeah, remember, we're brought to you by Fresh Chef Kitchen, our friend over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. We have already gone through our meals again this week. We are gobbling up the Fresh Chef eats from our friend Shane over there.
Because they're so easy and good.
They are. And that is the point that I wanted to talk a little bit about today, is just how easy it is. If you are on the go, like a lot of us are over here, everybody's kind of moving around in and out of the studio. A lot of people are sitting down at workstations and editing content or creating content. And we kind of got to eat on the move. One of the things that gets forgotten about is lunch sometimes, but not anymore. Our friends over at Fresh Chef Eats has helped that out, man. Whether it is breakfast, lunch, dinner, that you are looking for prepared meals, trust our friend Shane over there. He's helped out a lot of us around the community, including people like Andre Anthony, who just got drafted in the 7th round by the Tampa Bay Bucks. He put his nutrition into Shane and Fresh Chef Eats' hand and said, man, get me to the league. And Fresh Chef Eats did it. He knew that he had to make a change in his diet, did Andre Anthony, and he put all of his trust into Fresh Chef Eats. You may think prepared meals, you put them into the refrigerator, they're nasty. They get not the case, man. Everything is fresh, obviously by the title of the company, but there is a lot of passion behind what they got going on over at Fresh Chef Eats. Check them out online.
And
Fresh.
you can order in bulk too if you want to, and keep it at home for everybody to just make a plate when you want. Scoop it out, put it in the microwave.
Pre-order your meals and visit us. The store is located on Airline Highway, but the easiest way to do it is online. FreshChefEats.com. FreshChefEats.com. Tell Shane and the crew that you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We'll be back hour 2 talking more college football with Brody Miller. I know that we've beaten the horse of Saban and Jimbo. If you've got questions for Brody Miller, specifically about LSU football, about the SEC, about anything going on in the world of college football, get them in now. Hashtag Ask Brody, and we will ask the questions coming up here to Brody Miller of The Athletic next here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Do you have questions about your finances? Are you looking for recommendations from a skilled financial advisor? Get in touch with our friend Daniel Newman over at Edward Jones. You can find him easily by logging online and shooting him an email at daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. That is daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Whether it is help with your 401k or just fiscal advice heading into the new season, get in touch with Daniel today. Best way to do it? Email him, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. He's our experienced financial advisor. Let him be yours, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU bluewater.com. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard.
Hey y'all, it's Mikey from Mic'd Up. Catch us live every Monday and Wednesday, 11 to 1. Talk gambling, talk sports, have a ton of guests in here, get a little perspective from the athlete side of it. We got Lloyd in the house, Jay Mitch is in here a lot of the time. It's a fun show, great show. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends. If you don't like it, it's fine. Make fun of us. It's okay. Just get us out there. Share us out there. We're having fun. We want to share our fun with you. Like I said, Mic'd Up, brought to you by Sterling Automotive. Every Monday through Wednesday, 11 to 1. Catch us live on YouTube, baby. See y'all.
Southern Eye Centers, located at 6859 Jefferson Highway right here in Baton Rouge, has been serving your eyes for over 40 years in the capital region. They offer friendly service in a helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. If you want more information, log online to southerneyecenters.com. That is southerneyecenters.com. Stop in and check out their beautiful office located on Jefferson Highway right here in the capital city. And remember, each time you walk in there and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, Dr. Ann Shaw and Southern Eye Centers will take 25% off of their fantastic selection of sunglasses. All you got to do is mention the Jordy Culotta Show. Check them out, southerneyecenters.com, and located at 6859 Jefferson Highway.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
Some people think they're God. Go dig into how God did his deal. You may find out about a guy that a lot of things you don't want to know. We built him up to be the czar of football. Go dig into his past, or anybody that's ever coached with him. You can find out anything you want to find out, what he does and how he does it. And it's despicable.
Y'all have both spoken so highly of each other in the past in terms of what y'all have done in your previous relationship. So how disappointing was it to hear that from him, in terms of, a mentor type to you?
It's disappointing. No, it wasn't. No, it's despicable that a reputable head coach could come out and say this when he doesn't get his way or things don't go his way. The narcissist in him doesn't allow those things to happen, and it's ridiculous. But when he's not on top, and the parity in college football he's been talking about, go talk to coaches who coach for him. You'll find out all the parity. Go dig into wherever he's been. You can find out anything. And it's a shame that you got to sit here and defend 17-year-old kids and families in Texas A&M because we do things right. We're always going to do things right, but we're always going to be here. And I know the guy, know him really well. It's amazing that we're allowed to do those things. It's really despicable. And I hate it. For our players who are coming here, who did things the right way, have done things the right way, and will continue to do things the right way, I apologize to you that people insult you publicly the way they're doing it. And our fans, I apologize to you guys for people saying those things about Texas A&M. But I promise you this, there are no violations. There are nothing wrong. It's the second time we've had to do this with grown men who don't get their way and want to pout, throw a fit, and act up. Just go ask all the people who work for him. You'll know exactly what he's about.
All right, some of the clips yesterday from Jimbo Fisher as he was reacting to Nick Saban. We dominated the first hour talking a lot about that. We'll continue the college football theme with one of our favorites, Brody Miller from over at The Athletic, who covers LSU. Really good content coming out of The Athletic around LSU from Brody Miller. Make sure that you are keeping up with that content. And if you have not subscribed over to The Athletic to keep up with Brody's stuff, make sure that you do that, man. It is worth the subscription to keep up with the college football insider, and especially down here at LSU. Brody, good morning. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
I'm good, man. We got to start with the pink elephant in the room, man, or the crimson elephant in the room. What did you make of two of the heavyweights, Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher, duking it out publicly like they have the last 24 hours?
Yeah. Well, first off, I had a lot of fun with it. Second, yeah, I mean, this is it's unprecedented in so many ways. One, Nick Saban is the most careful person, any of us have ever come across. So him saying something, that would lead to something like that is just kind of surprising. And I think a lot of people in the coaching community, that is their first response. It's just kind of like, that's not really like him. And then obviously, I mean, the response since from Jimbo is it's pretty pro wrestling worthy. So it's been fascinating. We have a story up that just ran this morning with Bruce, Matt Fortuna, and I kind of looking at their relationship at LSU and how, there was more tension in those days than people realized between them. So we all shouldn't see this as too much of a shocking development.
From Jimbo's point of view, or just from the debate's point of view, Brody, I said that I think that both sides were kind of right. I think that it came down to more of a personal feeling towards one another, that they just either Jimbo wanted to air publicly, or I'm with you. I can't imagine why Saban would want to step in it like that.
Yeah, I think, and I don't want to speculate, but I we talked to some people in our story who kind of theorized that, Nick is angry that he, isn't happy that someone else, first off beat him, and then second, got the #1 recruiting class. And, it was his kind of call out to boosters, and also kind of, again, this is their words, not mine. Sure. Like, it was an excuse. And, I think that is a small part of it. And then, yeah, you have a lot of people who are like, he's wrong for saying that. And then, on the other side, people who are like, again, their words, not mine, basically saying, Jimbo acted like a child and couldn't just take the high road that he beat him. So it is a situation where I'm with you. I think both are kind of right, and also both, probably made a little bit of fools of themselves.
Brody, from LSU standpoint, I was saying within the hour one reaction to that, it kind of feels good not to be in the drama for the first time in a couple of years. I mean, like, I'd imagine from your point of view, I mean, it was probably, a lot of people were paying attention to your work because of just the demand on LSU football the last couple of seasons, but it is good to be on the sideline watching this one for the first time in a while.
That was I was arguably the funniest part of LSU Twitter, hashtag LSU on Twitter. It's just everybody being like, hey man, Kelly's getting out of this spot free, we're good. So man, I'm not gonna sit here and say you're wrong. It is nice sometimes to not be in the middle of the juiciest story where everyone's cracking jokes.
What are some of the juicy stories for LSU though as they head into the meat of the offseason? SEC spring coaching meetings coming up, SEC Media Day coming up. What are some of the stories that LSU is leaving spring football with going into the offseason?
Yeah, I think one that might not fall in the football category specifically, but is just kind of that world of trying to catch up on NIL right now. Of course, I think is number one, just in the scenario of, hey, they were behind a little bit, then they were kind of hamstrung by the laws, and I think Kelly and company are kind of formulating their own plan that's going to happen in the next few weeks. I think that's a big story that we'll have more on soon. But yeah, I mean, football-wise, it's just going to be such a fascinating summer in terms of, the quarterback competition, what's going on at all these, open spots. This is this weirdly very talented team at the top, but with all these holes, and it's just going to be and then we got, SEC Media Days and all that. So it is just going to be such a juicy summer and fall in terms of, I don't know, just kind of like what a Brian Kelly LSU football team actually looks like. Does he get more out of guys? Does he get less? I just can't wait to find it all out.
Are you going to go to Destin for the spring meetings?
We're still figuring it out because we can only send like a certain amount of people from the company. So we're like kind of taking straws, who gets to go, and I feel pretty confident Aaron Settles and Sam Kahn are now officially on that list as our Bama and A&M writers.
I mean, I'm looking at the Athletic right now, Brody, and amongst all of the tabs that you can pick on, like NFL, NBA, MLB, soccer, NCAA football, there is a Saban versus Fisher tab on the Athletic to give you an idea just how big this story was. Brody, I said that you would see this piece of B-roll, these clips like 100 years from now. I'd imagine that my grandkids will see video clips of what happened today when you just reference coaching controversies or, public conflicts of coaching, like I said, like 80 years from now.
And it's even better because it stands out in kind of an era where that's not how it's become, a corporate world of sports. Everything is millionaires and smart decisions to some extent. So it's just like, this feels like such a foreign era of old-timey baseball and basketball players brawling on the court, or shoot, even 30 years ago, Calipari and Chaney, going at it in a play. It's just that doesn't really exist anymore because everything is so careful and we live in a social media time. So for it to happen now, it amplifies it like times 10 of just how absurd this is. And not even just that it would happen, but the people, the fact that it's like a master protege relationship, and the fact that it's two of the, 4 or 5 biggest coaches in the world, and it's Saban of all people. There is just, I can't wrap my head around just how surreal it all is and how, God, it's fun. I'm not gonna lie.
It's awesome
because it's harmless. Right. It's not like there's any real stakes here.
I mean, it's Real Housewives of SEC football. I mean, it feels like Bravo, bro. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I saw somebody point out, they're like, man, they all waited till Ogeron was out to actually get heated, because can you imagine him if this exact setting happened?
I gotta get some of this. Put me in there.
It would have been a different dynamic.
I mean, it feels like Teresa Giudice versus Jen Shaw, a couple of one seeds from Real Housewives going at it. Brody, we had John Emery in the studio earlier this week. A really good return on the interview from a lot of people out there, just getting an inside look of kind of the makeup of LSU's running back. I feel like he's going to be the centerpiece of the offense this year. What do you feel on Emery's senior season, on where he is mentally, physically going into the season?
Yeah, that was a great interview, by the way. And yeah, I really, you and I feel like have really been we're not alone on this, but we have never sold our stock on Emory Island to some extent. And yeah, it's just, I even remember when he was a freshman, like sitting next to Hester on the sideline and just being like, man, and Hester being like, that kid gets together, he should be the best running back in the country. And I think the implication is it just really does seem like that's happening. And it's like, as much as we talk about him getting it together, it's not like he was in the bad kid category. It's not like he was doing, it was just, a kid growing up, a kid catching up from some mistakes earlier in his academic life, things like that. And yeah, a lot went against him and he fell even further behind. So yeah, I do think he's gotten those things in order. I do think Kelly's been pretty good for him. And the sadder part of last year was that I actually think he was turning the corner last summer. Like he was becoming that, but then he had to pay for the earlier, I guess, sins, for lack of a better word. So I really, and then that probably only emboldened him more. So I think he's in good position. I think he, has the right head on his shoulders right now, and he just looks physically like a stud. I do wonder, and this is me just talking out of my behind, but like he's gotten so much bigger and then he got banged up. I just always wonder about that. But anyway, that's not the point of this. Like, yeah, I think he should be the guy. The way people talk about him in private in that building is like he is going to be the star. So yeah, I think it's time to ride the Emory hype train.
Even his peers, Jay Ward was in here, and BJ Ojulari yesterday. We asked him about Emory. Even they believe and expect him to have this incredible type of year, this bust out type of season. What do you think Noah Cain does to the competition when he comes in the summertime?
Man, it's so hard to pinpoint because like in a vacuum, it's like, hey, he's a Big Ten starter. He should have he should be like the number 2, but it's hard to get much info because he was banged up and in turn wasn't exactly a great running back, last year. So that's not really his fault, but, he just didn't have his explosiveness, things like that. So it's like, yeah, maybe he actually is healthier and now he's going to be a clear number 2. Or, maybe, as much as like every time when I come on your show, I yell from the rooftop, like transfers aren't automatically just like the same version of themselves. So maybe he does have a bit of a transition because I like that whole room. I think Goodwin brings something that probably no one else really brings with some of that explosiveness. I think Trey Bradford's kind of a weirdly slept on player. They got guys, so it's not like but yeah, I think it'd be safe to say Cain probably slides in as more of that physical, I don't know, move the chains back, almost like your version of a Davis Price to some extent to bounce off Emory. That would be my guess, but it's like, I wouldn't be shocked if Goodwin's ahead of him. I just don't know.
It was fun seeing the new faces out in spring, whether it was transfer guys coming in and making an impact, or it was new faces like Will Campbell, stepping out there and stepping into a starting role in an offensive line in just his first 15 practices during spring. Is there anybody that's coming in the summertime that you're looking at and says, hey, man, I wouldn't be surprised to see this guy make an impact early on?
Ooh, it's a good question. I think someone else will probably pop in my head right after I say this, but I think Emory Jones, though, is somewhere on there just because, again, I think O-line's a little better suited than it was a year ago, but still, he's somebody who they'll tell you, like, and, he could come in and maybe make waves and actually kind of like Will Campbell, compete for time at one of those interior spots or something. I think he has that kind of potential. Granted, O-line's really tough, and, Will Campbell, what he's doing is the extreme outlier, but I think he comes to mind. Perkins is the boring, obvious one. Not boring, but, sure. So I think those come to mind. I'm sure others will, but I think Emory Jones is my sleeper pick.
One of the guys that coming out of spring that people are lightly buzzing about, there's a small chatter about him in making an impact because it feels like he's physically getting right, but it's his versatility that stands out with his ability to kick return, punt return, and catch passes at wide receiver has been Chris Hilton. How have you seen his development? What have you heard about his progress going into his second season?
Yeah, I do think he is kind of the most slept on of that receiver group, and for obvious reason, right? He missed the overwhelming majority of last year. Didn't really get a breakout while like every other one of those freshmen did. So it adds up, and then you have Butte coming back. So it's like he's weirdly sixth on that list of guys you'd think of. But yeah, I mean, he's a guy who was a huge recruit. His you saw that breakaway speed and kind of like, man, this might be way out of line. Is there like a little Trey Palmer like kind of in like his, I don't know, skill set to some extent, but you saw that breakaway speed at times in that bowl game touchdown. And yeah, I think he had a really good spring. I think he's somebody they do trust, and I think you hit on the head. Versatility is the big thing. They're trying to find playmakers who can just be versatile and make plays. So yeah, I do think he's kind of, we all talk about Thomas and Besh and Neighbors, but I think he's one to watch for sure. So that's a great pick.
BJ Ojulari was in here yesterday, and we were talking about his versatility, Brody, and kind of him being a 3-down player this year. There's some mock drafts that have him in the top 5, top 10 for next spring's draft. But I think this staff is trying to use him not differently, but more. What do you expect his role to be on this defense coming up under a first-year coordinator in Matt House?
Yeah, I feel like Matt House is going to be nothing against the others, but I think Matt House is going to be very good for him just because, one, Matt House is a genuinely great defensive coordinator, but two, yeah, I think just the changing a little bit. You are going to see him sometimes, I don't know, with his hand down and as an edge, and you are going to see him as more of an outside linebacker, and you will see him, fall into coverage and all those things, and that's just highlighting him more because to some extent, yeah, he probably is never going to be, I don't know, like a normal interior, edge stopping defensive end, but you have to find ways to zig and get the most out of this absurd athlete in front of you. And I think they kind of limited him in terms of, hey, you are this great edge rusher, but we're not going to figure out how to use you for the rest. So I do think they have a better kind of, plan for him, for lack of a better term, because the skill there is just absurd. Yeah, I mean, if he clicks, if he's used right, he is a top 10 pick, right? I mean, he has that kind of ability. And also, I think there's just some element of this should be a more sound defense in some ways. And I think maybe, the injuries last year just kind of, once they got into SEC play, it made it hard for some of those pass rushers to really stand out because everybody was out. So I think they have such a good D line that someone like Ojulari could either, you have to double him or he's going to win a one-on-one. So I expect him to be the star of this defense for sure.
Brody, you briefly mentioned punt returner and kick returner. Sorry, I don't know if you heard the first part of that question. You briefly mentioned punt returner and kick returner. Who do you think takes on each role?
Man, that's a good question. And I always, because it's a great question. It's one of those things I haven't asked about much. And I always want to be honest, but I don't want to lie to you guys. I don't have a great answer on that. I had heard Hilton. There was somebody else that someone was raving about, and I genuinely forget. And I just don't want to lie to you.
Was it John Emery?
Maybe. Oh, man. I remember that Kelly talked really highly about a guy they were trying out a return, and I am just a terrible reporter and forget.
No.
Brody, was it Malik Neighbors?
Great radio.
Oh, it was Malik Neighbors.
Was it Malik Neighbors, Brody?
Yes, I think that's it.
Yeah,
yes.
It was Malik
Which is an
Neighbors.
interesting one, because I wouldn't have inherently thought of that. He's not just the super athlete, but the thing with him is everyone says he just finds ways to make plays, which is overly, and I can see him being really good there. So I'm interested in that.
Hunter Fournette asks, #Ask Brody. Brody, who gets more sacks this season, Mason, Roy, Ojulari, or Gay?
I mean, it's a great question, but the answer is probably Ojulari, just by default. But I do love the question because it's if you're asking me who I don't know has the best year, I'm picking Mason Smith. Yeah. I think Mason Smith is the best defensive lineman. I think he is. There's a world where we were talking about him coming out of this year the way we talk about, I don't know, Jordan Davis and Will Anderson in their own ways. I think he's that special. So I could see Mason Smith having the most impactful year, but just the role he's in, he's probably not going to have as many quote unquote tackles for loss and all of that. So Ojulari is my answer there. I think Gay's going to have a good year, but I think the role he's in, it's not as set up to get every sack like Ojulari is. And Roy, it seems like they have him at nose right now, so it's kind of hard to see him getting a ton of sacks, but he obviously will, really create some havoc in there that'll open things up for everyone.
Last one, Brody, I'll get you out of here. One of your latest pieces was about the 2022 recruiting class, the 2023 recruiting class, sorry. The 2022 was littered with talent all over the state at every position. 2023 may be overlooked just because of how talented 22 was. I thought it was a good in-depth look at just how talented this upcoming group is. What do you expect the impact of Kelly having here in his first recruiting cycle in the state?
Man, it's going to be, I think next month is going to tell us so much, just because obviously June is just visits and camps constantly, and every major player they're going for is coming in for a visit. And yeah, it's going to be a weird one to follow, because I think it's going to be about setting expectations, for lack of a better way to put it. It's a really good class, you're right, and it's not that much in terms of how many guys are in the top, 200. It's not much worse than last year. It's pretty close. But it's going to be tricky because, hey, realistically, maybe Arch Manning and Eli Holstein, these two star quarterbacks, yeah, there's a good chance they do leave the state and LSU lands a different quarterback. And then that's going to kind of throw people off. But if they can hold on to their Shelton Sampsons, your Lance Hurds, your, some of those, top Louisiana guys, I believe they can do that. What I'm so intrigued by is this national scope they're going with, which isn't brand new or anything, but defensive line and edge. Jamar Kane is going for the biggest fish, and he's getting most of them on campus. But we've seen so many times where it's one thing to be like in it, and hey, that's impressive. You were in the top 3 for all these great players. But can Kelly and company bring it home? I just have no idea. Or same for these quarterbacks, Moore and Rashada. It's like, you're in it. Are you going to bring it home? So I have no idea. There's all these huge fish they're going for, but what are the percentages of them bringing them home? So, yeah, I think there's a scenario where LSU lands, a top 5 class, and it's great. I just think this next month they're going to give us kind of all the answers.
Make sure and follow his work on Twitter at Brody Miller. Make sure and pick up the subscription before the off season here, as there seems to be no off season now in SEC football, as dictated yesterday by 2 of the heavyweights and Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban going back at one another. It's all detailed over at The Athletic. Brody Miller is the guy that we follow over there. He gives us the inside information at LSU. He's the best. Have a great weekend, man. We'll see you.
You guys are the best. Thanks. And I'm sorry I didn't have a better answer for return man.
No, it's right. Malik Neighbors is the guy. I think so. We'll see you, man. Later. There he is, Brody Miller, checking in this morning from The Athletic. Make sure and pick up that subscription today so you can keep up what's happening over at LSU. That conversation brought to you by our friends over at RMB Builders. Rhett Bourgeois and the crew over there getting you into a custom design home today or this weekend. If you want to sit down with Rhett and his crew, get that done over at RMB. RMB-builders.com. RMB-builders.com is where you can find them online, and you can check out the entire portfolio over there. Discover homes with extraordinary quality and excellent design. They got a great website over there at RMB. RMB-builders.com. The cooking couple is here.
Smells like meat.
It smells
meat and
incredible coming from the kitchen. We've got Josh from Iverstein's coming in this morning to explain to us about what they have going on over there at Iverstein's. Of course, Iverstein's brings us our food and our meat every Friday. How we doing? We'll be back. We'll be getting fed here. We'll be talking food. Iverstein's is in the house, and it's Friday. Make sure and hit that like button, share button, comment button. We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you daily by Morales Roll-Offs. Morales Roll-Offs provides dumpster rentals for residential and commercial needs in Baton Rouge and surrounding areas. Morales has roll-off dumpsters ranging from 10 yards to 40 yards to accommodate all of your disposal needs. Search online, Morales. The Jordy Culotta Show is com. The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
I remember going to the Tennessee camp.
Oh, this is a great story.
And I had locked everybody up.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I was licking my chops, and I'm like, yo,
Jarvis and Odell were there, right?
Everybody was there. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, all y'all get in line. Like, everybody, come on. I'm going to go
Get back in line.
I'm going to go rep after rep. And then it really kind of turned into a show where none of the
Right.
DBs wanted to go.
Yeah.
None of the receivers wanted to go. It was literally, then it turned to me and Jarvis.
Right.
Just one-on-one. You know what I mean? So,
You know, whenever Tyrann Mathieu's ready for that challenge, this is something that he's talking about out loud. Now,
Yes, he's speaking
I mean,
into existence.
we will talk to him about this afternoon. So I mean, we'll ask him how real this stuff is, but he's just in the way that I know him, and like I said, we've got a relationship that's lasted about 10 years from covering, media member to athlete. And, we're not good friends by any means, but I feel like I know him a little bit. He's not saying stuff like that without really being serious about it. If he's thinking that right now and with the affirmative tone that he is speaking that with, like, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
He's not bluffing.
Really, no. He's if this is something that he really wants, he'd be great at it. He would be a great coach. He would be a great motivator.
Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard.
I like my watch. Robert Mitchell, what's better, Jimbo and Saban or Depp and Amber?
Jimbo and Saban.
I think Jimbo and Saban are. I think
Yeah.
Jimbo and Saban are too. More for the just how brief it is. I
Yeah.
feel like with the Amber and Depp stuff, I got to get caught up at the end of the day, bro. I
Yeah.
need like a wrap up
I know.
YouTube.
And then some of Amber and Johnny Depp stuff is like acting. Like
Yeah.
you can tell
Yeah.
they're
They're
both
actors.
actors.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
actors.
they're both actors. So
Depp's in his element.
yeah,
Yeah, he is.
he's like it. I've been here before.
Yeah, right.
Blow.
How we doing? Waving at everybody
I'm
when he
kinda
gets out of the
getting
car.
tired of it, though. Like, I've kind of had enough.
Yeah, I'm over it.
Right.
I'm over it.
It needs to come to an end now.
Over it.
Yeah, it's almost like they're dragging it on. Like this is like dragging. Like, all right, we
Yeah.
get it. Y'all abuse each other. Like people have problems.
Right.
Everybody
Yeah.
has problems. We don't care about y'all problems.
Yeah.
Rich people problems.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Going home in your bins. Cool.
All right, we got Foodie Friday coming up here. Compliments of our friends over at Iverstein's. Remember, we told you Josh from Iverstein's is going to be in here telling us about a lot of the cool stuff that's happening over there, including the move right down Perkins that we will tell you about, and then a little bit of a subscription-based model that they are talking about, what they can help you
Meat
out.
subscription.
Eastern Conference Finals last night. Marcus Smart turned out to be a difference maker for Boston, as Smart and the Celtics took care of the Heat 127-102 last night.
Are we surprised?
25-point victory.
I was kind of surprised because the first
But
game went
yesterday,
differently.
did you think Heat or Boston?
I've said Heat.
Okay, I thought so. I thought we talked about that.
So
So,
is
it's surprising.
So you think the Heat are going to win this series?
I think the Heat are going to win the series. I didn't think that Boston was going to not lose it. Now, look, last night they got Horford and Smart back. That makes them a totally
Yeah.
different team.
Yeah.
They're a totally different matchup now, and especially when Smart played like he did last night. I mean, Smart had 24 points. A lot of that in the first half, but Miami just couldn't get it right. They couldn't figure it out, and it wasn't because Miami couldn't figure it out. It was because Boston was playing that well. When Boston plays like that, I do feel very anxious about my pick. I don't know if Miami can win the series when they play like that. I mean, Tatum had 27. We mentioned Marcus Smart had 24. Jaylen Brown had 20.
Combined for 75.
When they're playing like that, and those big three are balling like that, Miami's got to make every shot. You know what I mean? Like, it puts a lot of pressure on the other team to perform. I was surprised to see the difference of 25, though. But that's what happens when Miami misses shots. They rely so much on – I mean, you know, Jimmy Butler gives you 41. Tyler Hero's shooting the ball well. Bam Adebayo is – you know, he's down there cleaning everything up. I mean, they've got a good formula on how to win. But when they miss open shots and, you know, the Celtics or anybody else is shooting it like they did last night, it'd be tough to overcome. Butler had 29 last night in 32 minutes. Kyle Lowry missed his eighth straight game with a hamstring injury. So it'll be interesting to see how this series moves along as it shifts up to Boston. Game 3 will be Saturday from Boston, as we said, with this knotted up at a game apiece. And then in the Western Conference side, back out to San Francisco tonight for Golden State and Dallas. I doubt Luka plays back-to-back bad games. I think he's that good of a player now, kind of in the evolution of where he's at, where he's not going to struggle like he did in the first game. I think coming off that 7-game series versus Phoenix, he was a little gassed to turn around, to fly out west to San Francisco and have to play a Golden State team that was rested and ready and a very powerful unit at home. They're tough to beat in the Chase building. You know, I mean, it was just kind of a buzzsaw that they walked into, and it was the first time that he was able to see the defense that Golden State's going to run at him, and it was a good plan, I thought, by Mike Brown and Steve Kerr to double him early. If you see the way that they defended Luka in Game 1, as soon as he was crossing half court with the ball, they were kind of running and jumping him. They had either Jordan Poole or Andrew Wiggins on him playing one-on-one, and as soon as he would cross half court, the other would kind of run and jump him and see if they couldn't get the ball out of his hands and then make it difficult for him to get the ball back. When that's the plan, these other players around him have got to knock down shots. Jalen Brunson was 0 for 5 from three-point land the other night. You know, we saw Spencer Dinwiddie play well in the back end of the Phoenix game. I don't know if they're counting on him to have those types of games every night. Finney Smith obviously is a heck of a player for them, but you know, Luka, in my opinion, is not in my opinion, we all know it, is kind of the straw, right, that stirs the whole thing for Dallas, and I doubt he struggles the way he did. I mean, he still had 20, and you know, I mean, he still made an impact on the game, but Dallas was blown out by Golden State in Game 1, and a lot of that is because Luka he didn't have the impact on the game that, you know, we saw him in the first in the Phoenix series. And I just think he's so good of a player that he's able to adjust now to defenses that if he knows the defense is coming, and I don't know how many things you can really do against him. I thought that plan was good, but you can't have a Game 1 plan versus Luka in Games 2 and 3 because he's going to make the adjustment. I don't know how many options you really have in defending him, right? I mean, if you wanted to play big, he just pushes so many people around. I mean, he's so big and physical. I mean, he's got a LeBron-type body. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, he is a LeBron-type figure in trying to match up with. And you can just see the punishment that he puts on people when you guard him one-on-one. But if you can get the ball out of his hands and make it difficult for him to get it back, now you can see Dallas is a little clunky. You know, they're kind of like they don't know kind of – they're thinking a lot out there. I mean, they're not playing – quick and fast and loose with him kind of facilitating everything. When he's the facilitator and scorer, Dallas is tough. You know, I mean, they're as good of a one-man band that the NBA can provide. I still think Golden State gets out of this series, though.
You do? Yeah,
I think Golden State wins it. They're just they're such a good team.
They are.
I mean, and when Jordan Poole makes shots like that, and Steph Curry doesn't have to be I mean, he didn't hit his first 3-pointer until 3 minutes left in the first half the other night, and they won by, it felt like they won by 100. I mean, and Jordan Poole's not, even Klay Thompson looked like he kicked it around a little bit.
Yeah.
What's going on out there?
We're working with Bree on the food.
On the food? Is it not going? Is it
No,
not?
it's working. I'm just, just haven't cut to her yet. She's getting a little impatient.
I get it.
Women.
Hey.
Easy, Stewie.
At least there's another one in here now.
Impatient.
Yeah. All right, I don't even know what we're eating yet from Iverstein.
It smells like meat and butter.
Does smell like
we
meat
know
and
it's
butter.
meat
Give you a
and
little
butter.
sneak peek.
Oh yeah, ooh, that's
little
sausage.
sneaker.
That's like a
Dressing
coach's
up the
plate up
plate.
there.
Yeah,
See a pickle?
The
There we
video
go.
was sausage. It's real meaty,
Ooh, I
Meat
love
membership,
sausage.
Katie.
Damn it,
Oh, we know.
God, it's like right when I say it.
Open the door.
I know.
Lloyd's,
but I do.
Lloyd's
I can't
not been
get
here.
around. I know. I have no one to reciprocate.
A lot of you are asking if Lloyd is dead.
We don't
we have
think
not
so.
confirmed his death. Last I knew, he was sitting at a hotel bar, a airport bar, asking
okay.
the bartender for tips on betting. And I believe he took Golden State minus the 4 in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals due to a tip that he got from a bartender in an airport. I think Stewie's actually handled the job pretty good. We are debating
done
whether or not
great.
we're going to bring back Lloyd, and if we do, in what capacity.
Stewie's done great.
Did not mean to take the man's job. I will say that. I did not mean to take the man's job.
But you might have.
You might have.
You might have. All right, we will. Let's eat, man. Let's eat. What are we eating?
A coach's plate.
Right. I'm
Pickles look good.
Do
All right.
they make those pickles? I wonder.
Tell them about Dead Soxy, Katie, real quick.
Ooh, Dead Soxy.
We got a 15% chance always to save money over there with the promo code Jordy. DeadSoxy.com. DeadSoxy.com. Louis Caro, did Coach O take Lloyd fishing?
Did you
no,
want
I
me to talk about Dead Soxy or no?
I think we're a package deal. I don't think Coach O's taking anybody fishing if I'm not there. If anybody on this team is going fishing, it's definitely going to be me in the boat for sure.
J-boy.
Yeah, right this way. Katie, tell them about Dead
Okay,
Soxy.
sure.
Dead Soxy.
Dead Soxy,
Yeah.
SOXY. They right now. You mentioned the Jordy Culotta show. You get $100 off all your custom orders, so you can put your business logo on your socks. We should have worn. Did you wear Dead Soxy today?
I did.
You did?
I got the low cuts.
Oh, you got the. I wonder, did anybody do that for Mother's Day? I love those. The low cuts are awesome. Those are not what's on sale right now, but you can still get those by just using the promo code Jordy, 35% off of everything that you order. But what we're pushing now is your logo on a sock.
Nice.
120 pair. The lead time is 6 to 8 weeks. They do everything for you. You send them your logo. DeadSoxy.com/custom. Mention again Jordy Culotta Show and get $100 off your order.
All right, we'll be back with food here from Iverstein's on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and
Sausage.
powered by Go Chevrolet. Welcome back.
Happy Friday, y'all.
Happy Friday.
Great to be here with the Foodie Friday couple, the cooking couple from FM Food. You bet your ass it's good. And we have a special guest on set today. Our guy, Josh from Iverstein's. Joshua from Iverstein's. We told a story about Josh back in December. Josh was the butcher that was serving Scott Woodward, who had no idea who the man was. Josh, I don't want to take over your story. How are you, buddy? Good morning. It's good to see you.
What's up? What's up?
You look like an offensive lineman.
Thank you.
You look like you eat a ton of meat, but you actually cut a ton of meat. We'll get to some of those
yeah.
things.
And I'm working on my dad bod right now.
Hey, don't we know all about it, bro? Thank compliments of Iverstein's.
That's right. My weight went up. My wife is not happy.
I bet. A lot of cool stuff coming up at Iverstein's. First and foremost, the food every Friday has been fantastic. The cooking couple has done a fantastic job on their presentation, on all the cooking and the meals and everything of documenting that stuff. It's been awesome. But the food itself from Iverstein's,
yes.
Consistently fresh. It's consistently the best. You guys got a lot of cool stuff coming up, including a move and a subscription model that we're going to talk about. But just the experience of going into Iverstein's, if you were to sell it to somebody out there who's never been there, what would kind of the elevator pitch be on what you guys are offering?
It's a fun local store. I mean, we have local flavors, spices, seasonings, beers, wines, anything that you can think of.
Good products, rice and
rice, grits, the whole thing.
Yeah, we tried the grits a couple of weeks back. They were fantastic.
Yeah, so it's fun actually going because I don't think we have that experience a whole lot these days. We get to go into a butcher. There's whole animals hanging in the back.
Right.
And whatever you want. And we can cut it.
Right. No, it's an old school feel when you walk in there. And in where you are now, there's kind of a window to that room where you can kind of watch what's happening and the entire process of what's going on. Now, you're not going to be able to do that much longer because that place is closing next week, and then there is a move coming just down the road on Perkins Road, which the capabilities will be open for Iverstein's.
Oh man, we're so excited! The capabilities and the expansion and the things that we're going to be able to offer our customers, new customers, and it's just beginning with lunch and breakfast plates. So I mean, that's going to be like the big thing: is breakfast plates, lunch plates, daily specials, and then on top of it, all the merchandise expanded that we have now, and still being a whole animal butcher shop.
You mentioned lunch and breakfast. This is like you go sit down.
Yeah.
Like now it feels. I know that Galen at the beginning was serving a little bit of lunch, and there was a feel of kind of like come in, sit down, and now at the new spot with the size and the space and everything, you're really going to be able to show off the entire repertoire of what you could do.
The great thing about it too is you can come in and you're going to go ahead and try our pot roast sandwich, and get that fresh pot roast, that grass fed pot roast, and you can go to the counter and buy it. Bring it home.
Yeah.
Do the same thing.
We have a question from a listener. Can you order online?
So yes and no. So let me get into we have a bundle subscription.
Yep.
Which is great for one time. We have a one-time bundle, $135. You get 13 pounds of meat.
Damn.
It's various.
Damn.
We have a roast. We've got chops and steaks. We've got ground meat. We've got breakfast meat.
Oh yeah.
So a variety of things. Otherwise, you can do kind of a sustaining every month, and it's $125.
Beautiful.
So with that, you are allowed to do add-on orders. Some people don't know this. And the add-on orders, if you are a Butcher Bundle member, you can go ahead and add on anything that we have in the store. Oh, yeah. So if you know you got something big coming on and you need that brisket, add it to your order that
Beautiful.
week. Yeah.
And this is all online, iversteinfarms.com?
iversteinfarms.com. At the top right hand, I believe there's a nice yellow bundles.
Butcher Bundles. I'm looking at it right now.
There you go.
Local farms to your door.
Have you signed up yet?
I have signed up.
All right.
I'm lying. I'm sorry. I'm about to sign up. I'm signing up. I'm in the process. Yes, look, one of your biggest meat eaters over there is Katie. But constantly, always, we're always remarking just how good the food is.
Yeah, that's a big difference. I mean, that's what's got. I was a customer before I started working there.
Nice.
I've worked there for a couple of years, and I was a customer before. Because that there's a huge difference. And I'm not just saying this because I'm biased. I can't eat ground meat anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I get stuck eating ground meat somewhere else, and I can taste the difference.
Really?
I can't eat pork chop somewhere else. All right. We have a a heritage breed pig that we sell, a Berkshire, which means that it's been around before industrialized farming. So this thing wasn't cross-mated with anything. This pig is just
beautiful.
It's been, yes.
Yeah. Gorgeous and happy.
By
and
far
delicious.
the only pork we cook
It's
with.
the only pork we can eat. I mean,
It's
it really,
good,
the
yeah.
flavor, there's no comparison, really.
Yeah.
Super good. So we have all that. Makes the best pulled pork sandwiches, pork chops.
And so the move is you're staying on Perkins Road.
We're staying on Perkins.
It's really like a 3-minute drive just up Perkins crossing over Essen, right?
Yeah,
I believe it's the Perkins Crossing Shopping Center.
Crossing Center, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So we have the big news, big announcement coming up Saturday, May 28th. If you've never been to our store off of Perkins, we are offering 20% off everything in the store. Because we're going to close the doors on Saturday for our move. It's going to take about 2 weeks. We'll reopen on 16th. Our regular business hours. So we're open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday.
Don't tell everybody.
9 to 4. So you're talking about
Look,
so
we're
you're
telling everybody.
a week from Saturday.
Yes, a week from this Saturday.
A week from tomorrow.
Yep. So we got a bunch of the frozen things, and our goal is to, scratch out the inventory and start fresh.
Beautiful.
And we always do. We're always really good about rotating, and we go through enough. And, that's a good thing, too, is we only get so many animals per, per quarter. So it's kind of like it takes care of itself. So.
Go check out Joshua over at Iverstein's. Just as he said, 8 more days at the location where they are right now before the big move into Perkins Crossing Shopping Center, right past Essen, over there on Perkins Road. The Foodie, the cooking couple is here every Friday for Foodie Friday. And it is always, the food is provided by our friends over at Iverstein's. As he said, the butcher bundles are up now, and you can click on the link to be on that, to be in that membership over there online at iversteinfarms.com. But Lance, Christy, great to see y'all. You bet your ass it's good. FM
Good to
food.
see you.
What are we eating today? This plate is beautiful.
Yeah, so
beautifully dressed.
Undress it. Some green onion sausage, some Cajun sausage, jalapeno cheddar, and a little bit of boudin.
Yeah.
So a little sampler.
The pickles, y'all. Did y'all eat those?
I'm eating the pickles.
By the way,
I want more of these pickles.
Cultured Guru pickles. So that's a local product that you
pick
can
'em up.
also find at Iverstein's.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Phenomenal. They're fermented.
They got it all, Josh.
There's no pickle like that pickle. I'm sorry. It just
It
really
is
amazing.
And then I just kind of dunked it in one of the mustard sauces. and
Absolutely.
it is
You
all
did it-
together.
You did
Amazing.
it right. You do the
All
mustard
together.
and the
The
pickle
sausage
and it's
I'm out of
just-
pickles. I need
it's
more
a
pickles. I need.
flavor explosion in your mouth.
It's unbelievable. Lance, go
The
ahead. Go.
mustards are Creole and spicy brown, and then Lance can tell you about
It's just
this
my
aioli.
aioli that it's my I think it's my favorite
this
condiment.
orange.
The
right
big
here.
orange yummy
The dollar.
schmear.
That one's good.
schmear.
Chili garlic,
Yep.
spicy avec tout aioli.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
She knows.
Man,
She
look,
was
when it's in the
there.
house, anything I have left over gets dunked
He's
in there.
just dipping
Leftover
it.
grilled chicken, grilled steak,
Well,
whatever.
this would kind of be a good crawfish dip.
Oh
Hell
yeah.
Hell
Oh
yes.
yeah. It would be.
Uh-huh.
It is.
Yep.
And I'm not a big dip guy on the crawfish.
I'm not either,
It is
but
good,
this
though.
This is kind of this is the.
It's got a little bit of that raw garlic
This is
burn, a little spiciness.
So these are the selections that you can get at Iverstein's, right? These are all different types of.
Yeah, all
sausages.
these sausages. I just went and said, I want that, and that. They have a flying Hawaiian.
Oh, I love the flying
That's
Hawaiian.
amazing.
That's one of
It was
that's
out
like
today.
My favorite.
But just so you know, if you're ever in there and it's in stock, you need to try it. Is it good, Josh? Or
Josh,
what?
Oh, it's
describe the
fantastic.
flying Hawaiian. What
The
is
flying
It's
that?
actually
Hawaiian.
my number one favorite sausage from Iverstein.
Oh,
Wow.
The
Yeah,
flying
it's good.
Hawaiian.
It's
The one
popular.
seed.
Yes, we
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
pineapple and jalapeno.
Pineapple jalapeno.
It's like sweet, spicy.
It's tits.
Out of this. Out of this
It really is.
Damn.
But these are great too.
It is.
This one's my favorite. My favorite is jalapeno cheddar.
Is
Yeah.
it great?
Yeah.
When
It
you
is.
can get the cheese and the jalapeno.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yes.
I agree.
So Lance popped by yesterday with Iverstein moving. Inventory is sort
Sinking?
Sort
Well, they're
of
purposely
dwindling.
trying to let it
They're
dwindle,
not-
like
he
it's
was
not
saying.
Restocking. So the next 2 to 3 weeks will be interesting for Foodie Friday. We've even talked with Galen about what we're going to do. May even have to highlight some fish from another local place.
We don't know.
We don't know. It's going to be fun. We're just kind of,
Here's-
making it up.
I'm going to throw this idea out.
I
into
like
the
it.
universe.
Let's hear it. We
I don't
love
even
live
know what it is,
ideas.
and I'm
Because
already
I just
excited.
saw a big bin of them, so I'm sure we could put a pack or two away.
Okay.
Nice.
Is a good old fashioned American hot dog.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm down.
We have the best hot dogs.
We're big wiener people over here.
We are.
They're all house made. So if you like our smoked sausage, you'll love our hot dogs.
We're in.
They're
We
pork
have
beef.
an idea for it. I think
My
we're gonna
10-year-old
do a Sonora
cannot get
dog.
enough. I'm like, all right, 3 hot dogs is enough.
So the menu is set for next Friday.
Hot dogs.
Wieners.
Hot dogs. Wieners. Summertime.
Katie's excited.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know what? We've been talking about doing a grilling episode, so it's perfect.
All right, we'll grill some dogs.
Oh,
I said you're excited for
Are you
the
coming back
Weenie
on Friday?
Friday.
What's that?
You coming back
Come
on
back
Friday?
any Friday.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Open
man,
invite,
I'll be
bro.
here. I can't miss hot dogs.
Open invite.
Yeah.
Go check out Joshua from Iverstein's. They're on Perkins Road. 8 more days at the current location. Next Saturday, a week from tomorrow, 20% off everything in the store. Did I say that right?
You did.
20% off everything. Before the big move to Perkins Crossing Shopping Center, right down Perkins, just over Essen. But as always, man, the greatest in fresh quality meat, and there's other selections as well, like these pickles that I'm about to go get thirds on in the kitchen. And the Foodie Fridays cooking couple, the Foodie Friday segment, every week is brought to you by Iverstein's. As always, the cooking couple knocked this one out the park. Make sure you follow them on social media at You Bet Your Ass It's Good, FM_food, FM Food. Every week where the recipes, the videos, everything is uploaded and highlighted there, as always. So, we leave anything out? Cooking couple?
No, you
No.
did it.
Joshua?
No, 20% off, and if Galen doesn't want it in the store, you better take it out.
Yeah, there you go. You heard it here first, Galen. Josh said 20% off everything today for everybody at Iverstein's.
Right. If that's not true, get it out the store now.
Yeah, that's right. Have a great weekend. Hit that like button, share button, comment button. We will be back with you for Mic'd Up this afternoon from Uncle Earl's. Come celebrate and get ready.
I
No,
think
we're out.
That's
my
Mic'd
fault.
Up is
It's
out
my
today.
fault. It's my
Wedding.
fault.
He has a
My
wedding.
fault. Wedding season.
Yes.
Wedding. Game 2. I'm sorry.
It is wedding season.
There's not 20% off everything at Iverson's, and there's no Mic'd Up.
Going to a wedding Saturday.
I'm sorry about your weekend. Come back next Friday for Big Wieners, Mic'd Up, and 20% off everything. We'll see you next weekend. I'll see you on Monday.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hell yeah.
Try our pickles.